Hi my gardening angels, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am Jess. So today I am going to be watering my succulents. This has been a super requested video. So as always, if you want to see something like a technique or a different kind of plant, comment it down below and I will do my best to make a video for you guys on that. This was kind of a difficult video to make just because watering is very habitual for me and it is very easy for me just to do it throughout my week. I am definitely the type of person who has gotten on a different watering schedule with each plant, kind of. I keep an eye on a lot of them throughout the week, and succulents are great in the fact that they really don't need much water, and if you forget a watering or you wait a couple more days, nothing's really going to happen, and it might just dry out a little bit, but it's not going to die. However, on the flip side of that, it can be very easy to overwater your succulents. So, I have a video on underwatering, overwatering if you are interested, and I will include a link down to that below. I won't be necessarily talking about that today, but I'm just going to be doing more of my basic watering routine with you, just kind of showing you how I water easily and fast with all my succulents because I do have a lot of succulents to water. So just a few things really quick before we jump in. I do use a succulent soil specifically from Miracle-Gro. It's fast draining cactus soil. You can buy soil from Home Depot, your cactus or your local nursery. You can buy it online, whatever, but you do need fast draining soil. And I also have my succulents in pots with drainage holes. There's a couple that don't, and I think I will show you those as well, but you just have to be a little bit more careful with that. But if you are a beginner succulent grower, definitely have pots with drainage holes and use fast draining soil. If you're using normal potting mix, it's not going to work and your succulents are going to rot. And the second thing is that I have grow lights on all of my succulents, and they are on from about 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every single day. Because I have grow lights, my succulent soil dries out a lot faster. There's a lot of light, so it's evaporating, which also helps have the water not stick around, and it is also why I water probably a little bit more than you guys might if you don't have grow lights. So I water probably once every 1 to 2 weeks, maybe twice a month, just depending on how the succulent's looking, mainly going off of whether or not the soil is bone dry. So succulents like to be watered a ton of water at once and then left to completely dry out for the next time. So don't give it water every couple of days unless you are doing a propagation tray, which I will also show you. That one I water a lot more often just because the soil is very thin. There's a very thin layer of soil and it doesn't hold water well, and the succulent roots only go so deep with the propagation trays, and they need to be watered a lot more often. But so watering takes me probably an hour or two, which is why I usually don't do it all at once. And I mean, it only takes a couple times a week, so it should be fine. Let's jump in and kind of show you the process. All right, so I'm going to start with this first row. This is my propagation row. These are a lot of cuttings or some bigger propagation ones. I have 2 tools that kind of help me in this watering process. This is my garden syringe, which I will include a link down below. It's just one of those, I don't know, like ketchup bottle things. Anyways, you can put water in here. It has a pointed tip, so you can kind of direct it more. I might end up using this just because my syringe isn't, I don't know, it's just so sticky recently and driving me nuts. But otherwise, I mean, this thing is, 2 years old. So for $1, it's gotten its fair share. And then I just have a old bowl that came with a mixer that I don't have anymore. So first I'll just water this tray here. This is the mandala. It's looking a little rough. We have some doing well over here. All the neon breakers were done. These Debbies are still doing all right. I'm gonna have to, or not Debbies, goodness, pink frills, pink edges, something like that. I'll have to remove those here soon, but I'll do that in the propagation update. But first I just take my syringe and fill it up and then spray them down. One thing that's kind of nice about this syringe is you can really control how much water each succulent is getting. You can try really hard not to get it on the leaves. I obviously am not doing such a great job at that. But really with these trays, you just kind of want to make sure that the soil around them is saturated pretty nicely. But there's that. Okay, my syringe is driving me nuts, so I'm going to just be filling this boy up and using him to water my plants. I feel like this is a lot more gentle right now. I love my syringe, but I definitely need a new one. It's just not going to happen. So a lot of times I will come back over a second round after I've let the water kind of sit and soak up everything, or the soil soak up the water is what I'm trying to say here. But also, can I just show you guys? Look how ginormous these are. They're bigger than a quarter. Oh yeah, I'm just going to kind of come back over here with these ones again, especially because these ones are really fragile right now. They're in like that second stage of propagation where they're kind of just trying to get on their own. So it's important that I keep them pretty well watered. Here's a little neon breaker I keep forgetting about and trying to kill. Okay. So I just try to water him when I remember mostly, but about once a day, when the soil's dried. So then with these trays, I use the same thing, but because they're a lot bigger succulents, I can give them a lot more water. But again, I'm trying not to get it so much on the actual leaves as I am directly in the soil. This one is in a closed container, so I just spray him down every now and then. I keep an eye on him because if you are not used to taking care of succulents, you definitely do not want to have them in a closed bottom without any drainage, unless you know exactly what to look for. So this one's kind of nice because you can see the water coming down. If I come up here, and then I'll just take out a couple that will be kind of in my path. Set them up here for a minute. And I've kind of worked out how much water my succulents can handle. So this guy just looks like he's in a bad spot. So I'm gonna probably do another one, but you can kind of see the water's just sitting in the bottom there, and then we'll soak up the water from below. Okay, so I filled this up with water, and now I'm just going to let it sit for a couple of hours, and then I will see if the tops of the soil are wet and maybe add some more water if I need it, or if they are, then I will dump the rest of the water out and put these back on the shelf and do that with the rest of the ones that I have up here. So it's now about 5:30 the same day, and I came home, and as you can hopefully see, the dirt is definitely wet, and I mean, it's still kind of wet. It's not dry, but all the water has soaked up from here, and I believe most of the water from in here has also been soaked up. It looks like there might still be a little bit, but this is lopsided, so it kind of leans this way, but I'll just drain out that and it'll be good. So that's really it. There's not a whole lot to it. I hope that this video kind of helped you guys not be afraid to go water your succulents. I know it's something that a lot of people get nervous about because it can lead to root rot. I think the biggest thing is just to wait for it to be completely dry. Listen to your plants. If the leaves are wrinkly, then give it some water, but really just give it incremental amounts until you've figured out how fast your soil drains. So I actually put on my Instagram channel a question poll for you guys to ask me questions that you had about watering. So if you are one of my subscribers and you have not went and followed me on Instagram, please do so that I can compile those list of questions. So at the end of the video, I can try to answer those to my best ability for you, and it's more specific towards what you guys are asking. So go follow us on Instagram. So one of the questions that was asked was how I keep track of the schedules between watering for the grown plants and for the babies. Well, so with the grown plants, like I probably mentioned in my video, I don't really have a schedule that I stay to. I really just watch the plant and I watch the soil because my succulents are in a spot where, I mean, they're in my office, and so I'm in here every day, and so I can peek over, see how wet the soil is, whether or not they're starting to pucker, and rewater them that way. With my babies, however, I check on them a lot more often because the soil is not going to hold that moisture as well. It's going to evaporate a lot quicker. They're not going to have access to it as easily. So I try to wait just a couple days in between waterings for those. So I honestly don't keep track of waterings. I go off of eye. However, a good rule of thumb, like I said, is just waiting till they're bone dry. But for most people, the propagating babies can be watered every couple of days. If you're doing what I did with the full syringe of water and really soaking that soil. Otherwise, maybe once a day if you're spraying them down and just getting that topsoil wet. With the other plants, you can usually count on watering them every 2 weeks. It would be kind of my rule of thumb for you. The other question that was asked was after I have a propagating baby, how long I wait to water it. And I wait 3 days after I've removed the leaf. If the leaf didn't just fall off naturally on its own and I pulled it off specifically, or it was a cutting or even a fallen leaf, I wait 3 days because that's going to ensure that it's callusing over. If it's a really thick cutting, then I would wait even longer, just because you really want to make sure that the whole stem has completely callused over and you aren't going to have root rot. So as always, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give us a big thumbs up because it really supports my channel. Don't forget to subscribe and leave any questions or comments or anything else that you would like to see down below. Thanks. Bye.